in the world that you are. It is the notorious, glorious V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, El Cuco, a.k.a. CJ, the producer extraordinaire. We're bringing you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. So check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter at RealRogueNews. And also check out our sponsor, mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com, where you get all your sorts of deliciousness, CBD that's safe for you and me, and even treats for your little doggy. Go check it out, mycbdedibles.com. And also follow me on Patreon. Patreon's the place, folks, where the Gorilla just posted his latest postings. So go check it out over there. I am unfiltered, uncensored, and uncancelable. So check it out, Patreon. That's where I'm at. And with that being said, Siege, what's crack-a-lacking, brother?
Hey, doing great, bro. How you doing?
You know, I'm just relaxing, dude. I'm just taking it all in. You know, did you hear about yesterday's news about the rumor or the gossip blower? Did you hear about that?
I did not. The gossip blower. Go ahead, break it down.
The gossip blower was excellent, CJ. It was the gossip blower, the one who's people are calling him a whistleblower. There's the only thing he's blowing is a dog whistle, you know. But the gossip blower, turns out is not only connected to a 2020 Democratic candidate that's running for president, and there's a great deal of proof to verify that information will be forthcoming, CJ. But the fact that this gossip blower's source. Now you might say, well, V, the gossip blower, maybe he has source. Yeah, sure, it's not firsthand information because that would entail that he would not be a gossip blower, but in fact a whistleblower. Maybe he has second-rate information, second-hand. That would kind of make him just a source, maybe an anonymous source or something like that. No, CJ, this gentleman who's a gossip blower has a third-hand information. Okay, from third hand, not first, not second, but third, my friend. And it turns out that his source is the same first gossip blower that came out 2 weeks ago stating that he heard the Trump-Ukraine call. Dude, if I were to say this is ridiculous and preposterous, it's absolutely ridiculous and preposterous.
It can't get any crazier, V. It really can't. I mean, and you eventually end up at a loss of words to discuss this insanity, these things that are occurring, at the national level. I if they are, in fact, what it sounds like to me is that the deep state, whatever you want to call them nowadays, that potentially, that if you think about it, they were potentially placed in there by a U.S. branch of government, of military, into the administration to specifically spy, V. Yeah. Now, in most countries, V, that would be warranted. That would be deemed as treason.
Yep.
But here in the United States, that's deemed as patriotic. I don't get it, V.
You know what I also don't get is why these guys are not like summarily executed. That's what I don't get, man. It's unbelievable for me to say the least, and it's laughable to say the most, because in any other country, these guys would have been taken behind a woodshed and put out of their misery. And the fact that this is happening, the fact that you have Shifty Shift Brains, the human fly himself, Adam the Shifty Shifter, with his beady eyes. I mean, the man looks like the Fly. I like to call him the Fly because his eyes are so bugged out, Siege. Like Adam Schiff looks like he was, like he had, he took a couple of bumps, and bump is a one of those slang terms for any sort of inhaled drug or narcotic, and it looks like he took a couple of bumps out of, I don't even know, some sort of maybe a exotic crack cocaine. Maybe it's the children's blood he drinks on the side that he gets an avid supply from the Standard Hotel. I don't know what it is, CJ. But old Shift for Brains, the human fly himself, with his bugged out eyes, was yesterday himself, just out there spewing utter nonsense. This is somebody who is in charge of a major, office, a major committee. He's a major committee chair, and the guy literally not once, not twice, but 3 times, CJ, 3 times has went out there and lied repeatedly and giving the public a false sense of an absolutely preposterous and absolutely made up event, an absolutely made up scenario that never even happened. Never even happened. And he's out there, man. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think these things are going to come to a head. Did you see the Giuliani and John DeGenova interview on the Laura Ingraham show on Fox? Now, I, for once, can't stand Laura Ingraham. I cannot stand Fox News. I like Hannity. I know where he fits. Yes, he's he's stuck in his little neocon box in some ways. But I also love Tucker Carlson. I think Tuck's the man. But that being said, Giuliani and John DeGenova were on there, and they literally said that they have information that will be coming out in a matter of weeks that will be absolutely tantamount. That will be absolutely bombastic. It will be big league information, CJ. Big league information that will, without a doubt, have a major impact and cause some serious blowback on these insane Democrats, man. I just can't even describe it, Siege. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I see this going a couple of different ways. And, not that I would ever give them too much credit for being creative or playing any type of advanced, maneuvering or anything. But in a way, if you think about this, V, that with this play, with what Schifferbrains did with their move with this and trying to go to Ukraine, try to pin this on the administration and, this treasonous act of spying on your political opponents and everything. I think there's also a play on their part where I think for the most part that Biden truly never did have the backing of the radicals because Biden, it's scary to say, and I think I've said this before, but when you look at the majority of the people that are running on the left, they're more radical than they are centric. And even though I would hesitate on calling Joe a centric, I don't think that they were happy that he was the front runner. I think they were perfectly fine making him a sacrificial lamb and throwing him out there, him and his son, for prosecution of all these matters. And I hope that Joe is willing whenever he, if he obviously he knows a lot of information, it'll be interesting to see that if he is put up there for prosecution, the sacrificial lamb, how much information he would be willing to share about what he knows or did know, or if he even makes it that far in terms of what he's doing. I mean, what are your thoughts on that political play?
I feel without a doubt that Biden's days are numbers. The dangerous part here is that Biden is on a bureaucratic, systemic capacity. He's a Democrat version of a John McCain. Not in the sense that he's a war hawk and he's a nut job and he worships at the throne of death. That's not what I'm saying. He's not war obsessed like McCain. But what I'm talking about, see, McCain was a gatekeeper. The McCain is somebody who had a great deal of the understanding and ideas of the inner workings. In other words, McCain is a guy who knows where the skeletons are buried. He knows where the bodies are. He's somebody who's witnessed the inner workings, the inner sanctum of a political apparatus that has been at play for decades, fleecing the American public. Biden's the same thing. He is part of the Clintonistas. He is part of the deep state problem. His tie-in. He is the capo of one of the capos of basically Crime Inc. That is the Democrat Party. And when you look at his son, we have this. People have this joke of the politician's kid or the pastor's kid, and it's usually kids of a public figure that goes, nuts. They don't listen to their parents and whatnot. And Hunter Biden is a perfect example of that. He has an overachieving older brother named Beau Biden who died. Hunter Biden, who was in and out of rehab, is a drug user. I mean, this is a guy who checked into a rehab, then he disappeared, and they found him in Skid Row in California, being held up at a knife point because he was trying to procure some crack cocaine. He was 42 when his dad tried to get him into the Navy. He was way past the age of enlistment. They pulled some favors. They tried to get the guy in there. A year later, he was dishonorably discharged because he had crack cocaine in his system. I mean, this guy's an abject failure. He married his dead brother's wife. He was having an affair with his sister-in-law. This guy's a sick idiot and a fool, to say the least. And the thing about this guy is, how the heck was this guy, a chairman of Bursima Holdings making $50,000 a month? How is this guy working as an investor and an employee for Paradigm Companies with a $1.2 million salary? How is this guy part of Seneca Global Advisors? God knows how many millions he's raised. How is he involved with BHR Partners, okay, where they procured $1.5 billion from the Chinese for investments? And there was no investments. There was any of this because this guy's a fool. He's a strikeout artist, and he's a loser. A loser of the highest order, CJ. The question becomes, if Hunter Biden's out there, what the hell is he selling? Because he can't sell. He sucks. If Hunter Biden is out there, he can't manage. This guy's an idiot. He's a dumb kid. He's a spoiled little brat. But what is he selling? He's not selling oil. He ain't selling gas, and he ain't selling his ass. So what he's selling is his dad's office and influence. There is no question as to that. There's no question of that.
Yeah. I also have another question in regards to them all of a sudden wanting to protect the whistleblowers. That these whistleblowers have rights. They need to be listened to. They need to be protected. B, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Where were these same voices that are calling to protect these whistleblowers now? Where were they when Snowden, Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning? What am I missing something, V?
Yes, you're missing something, CJ. You don't understand the plan. The plan is that Julian is going to get extradited to the United States. They're going to have this huge, welcome to America party for Julian. They're going to roll out a red carpet for him all the way to the Capitol building, from the Capitol building into the very halls of Congress itself. And Assange and Trump will walk hand in hand, and Assange will start naming all the characters that are in both the Democrats and the Republicans, okay, on both sides of the aisle, and that'll be the end of the deep state. Or so the fantasy goes. The fact of the matter is, and as was propagated, that Assange is going to get rescued and brought. Assange is dying. His prison conditions are absolutely horrible. When it comes to a real whistleblower, like Assange, like Manning, like Snowden, they are ostracized. You know what real whistleblowers in the U.S. government do? They run for their lives. They run for their lives. The only time you're a whistleblower and you're alive is if you have dirt on a political opponent of the opposite party from which the current party could leverage and take advantage of. That is the only time as a whistleblower that you're alive. You're a dead whistleblower, and you better run for your life if A, you touch the sacred cow. And what is that sacred cow, CJ? The military incompetent complex. If you begin to divulge secrets that pertains to the incompetent complex, if you divulge secrets that pertain to Wall Street, you wind up by taking banker airlines right out of the window of a top floor. If you were spilling the beans on the shenanigans of the deep state, CJ, then you too, my friend, might commit suicide by shooting yourself with a nail gun 8 times. But if you got dirt on a political figure of the opposite party, you're a whistleblower. What? You didn't hear it firsthand? No problem. You didn't hear it secondhand? Not an issue. You heard it third hand? That's fine. Sign here. We'll protect you. And the crazy thing is what these Democrats are trying to do now is that they're moving in a way saying that, hey, you know what? Trump and all you prosecutors, you will have no right to cross-examine these quote-unquote whistleblowers. Can't cross. How can you have a quote-unquote whistleblower if you can't cross-examine the witness to see if they're viable or not? And this is not going to hold up in a court of law. These idiots are literally making it up as they go along, which only tells me one thing and one thing alone, CJ. It shows me how terribly weak they are. It also shows me that this is all they have.
That's true.
I mean, think about it. You notice since the 2020 campaigns have kicked off, not one. See, do you know what the platform is for the Democrats on any one of these candidates on any one of the issues? What is their bloody platform? Except the free shit Olympics, where they're giving away everything for free, except for the virtue signaling and the pandering. Have they offered anything viable to anyone? No. They're united under their one dictum, and that is get rid of Trump. So in other words, they're not even worried about an election, CJ. They're the candidates, the media, the party, the all of this is obsessed with getting this man out of office as quickly and as expediently as possible. Why? Because they are that desperate. Why? Because the assassination attempts, several which have happened, have failed. A lot of these things have backfired. They're on their last legs. Something has to happen because look, something has to crack. And I'm no fan of Q, and I'm we're no believers here. We have a wait and see approach here on this show, CJ and I. We have a wait and see. And CJ and I have said this many times. We are more than happy to have egg on our faces. Is that not right?
No, CJ? Absolutely. Yeah, egg, whatever you want to throw. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know what? The only thing that makes it real difficult to defend this administration when it comes to situations like this, and sometimes some of the level of lack of understanding, or I hate to deem it stupidity that comes out from some people in the alt media that say crazy things. But I heard the other day people were asking, well, where's Gina Haspel? Why hasn't she came out to defend the president? And so that's what makes it hard to defend. That when you look at the people who have been aligned with this administration, you look at the Pompeos coming in through the CIA ranks. You take a look at his predecessor. You look at Gina Haspel being assigned to her position. That's what makes it hard to defend, and what makes it so conflicting at times is like, why would someone think things were going to be any differently with the people that were placed into these positions, right? How can you defend that and not understand that this is the outcome? I don't know, V. I mean, go ahead.
When you look at Gina Haspel, waterboarding, torture, Abu Ghraib, Haspel. When you talk about Gina Haspel, who was Gina Haspel was the water boy or the water girl for a certain John Brennan. Johnny Jihad Brennan. Okay. Gina Haspel, who was where, CJ, most of her time spent as a station chief. Where was she stationed? London. Where did the Russian dossier wound up in the hands of what city out of the Ukraine? CJ, from the Ukraine, where to go? London. Who did Haspel happen to meet in London during a specific few times? Peter Strzok. Who changed the whistleblower affidavit, where it originally read that you have to be a first-hand accountee of the said nefarious crime and or unethical action? Who changed it to you can now be a second hand or a third hand or a fourth? CJ, in fact, you can be the fifth or 10th hand knowledge of what it stands for. Heck, you can just make it up. Why don't you? You don't even have to have proof. You can just have a hunch. Who changed that 30 days before the quote-unquote gossip blower blew his gossiping whistle? Who was that? Who had the authority to do that? Well, it's a CIA affidavit, right? Who in the CIA authorized it? Gina Haspel.
Yep. So I just have to say it. So when I hear Greg Hunter on USA Watchdog get angry, get mad during one of his podcasts and ask, well, where's Gina Haspel? Why isn't she out there defending this administration? It just
because she's part of the problem, Greg. She's taking the administration down.
It just speaks volumes. And I agree with Greg Manarino. He said it numerous times because he refuses to do a show anymore with Greg. He's like, I'm not going on his platform anymore. I'm not going to do it. We need to start calling these people out by name who are spreading this disinformation. And the other day people started cheerleading when Trey Gowdy joined the legal team of the president to defend against the impeachment. And I'm like, they're like Gowdy's on board now. We're going to do something. I'm like, time out here. Why wasn't Gowdy appointed as Attorney General? Why Barr? Why not Gowdy? I mean, there were so many other things that would have made more sense utilizing Gowdy as an attack dog to get things accomplished. But he was allowed to leave. Was he Congress or Senate? He was Senate, wasn't he?
Congress.
House? I can't remember. Anyway, he was allowed to leave, and then he should have been appointed to some position. That would have been a bold move. And so people have to look at it that perspective. And so when I see people that they're like, yeah, Gowdy's, I'm like, think about things a little bit differently. Why wasn't he there on the prosecution side of these criminals of the Clintons and the Obama as the prosecutor? He knows a lot. He's very talented individual. So people just have to think through these things. And there's just so much, disinformation coming from people that at one time I used to greatly respect, who I'm not sure if they're doing it for clicks and views or if they're doing it to save face, that they don't want to admit that potentially they were wrong. But I guarantee you right now, if people would have been pushing back and questioning a lot of the actions, things that were taking place 2 years ago, instead of, trust the plan, instead of, hey, Huber is going to be out there in this special AG.
Huber's out there. Huber's out there. The man who covered for Uranium One is going to go investigate Uranium One. Yes, makes perfect sense to me, CJ.
That's exactly where I'm going with it. So, again, I wish I understood. I wish I had some, magic ball. Like I say, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's going on. But there's no doubt that with the upcoming election cycle and everything else like that, I really think that all these things are taking place. I think there's a reason, and I don't know quite what it is yet. But I think in the current situation that's occurring with the left and the number of people that they had running and everything, I think that there's someone silently waiting. I don't think it's Hillary. I really don't think it's Hillary that's going to be jumping into this. But I think that there's someone that they're running cover for.
Who do they possibly have? What do you think, man? Who do you think they possibly have?
Gosh, I hate to, could it be a potential combined ticket with someone with maybe a Michelle Obama or, I don't know. I just have this funny suspicion that there's someone there waiting in the wing that's going to eventually evolve as the front runner. I'm just,
who it is?
Who?
I'll tell you right now. Someone's already raising millions of dollars to go after this. It's not going to be Michelle, because she'll be exposed very quickly as to being a transvestite, and they'll see her schlong right on public TV as she's walking. Her trouser snake will be hitting against her leg, and it'll be plain for everybody to see at that point. So they don't want to run her. Too much of a liability. There's only one person, CJ, who's mentally ill enough to run. There's only one person, CJ, whom the mentally ill media is ready to back up and run full steam. There's only one person. And one person only, CJ, that has raised more money behind the scenes than any one of these current candidates. And I'm not talking about Pete Buttplug. Pete Buttplug is probably going to be I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to probably work in the office of social justice when this person gets, if this person should win, and they're not going to win. Mm-hmm. It's Hillary, man.
Oh, you're probably right.
It's Hillary. They're prepping her again. It's gonna be her. She's the glue horse. This is her last run. Once, twice,
Oh God, dear Lord.
3 times a loser. That's gonna be Hillary.
Oh dear Lord, yeah.
And Steve, if Hillary runs again, and then of course she'll lose, right? And if this time in 2 years we're saying the same, if people are still talking about the arrests are coming, the 10 million sealed indictments are going to be unsealed. Trust Barr. He is the B2, the B square. He's the stealth bomber. Folks, look. If the American populace, you know what the Q movement has really done at the end of the day, I think it's nullified. It's nullified a great deal of people from actually being pissed off enough to start taking some serious actions. Actions in terms of, changing their town, spreading the word and running for, their local offices, things that we can do, to be engaged fully in the info war. And everybody's waiting around for this great awakening. The awakening is here, but this great rescue, this whole great mass arrest, the 10 million sealed indictments, and Guantanamo, and Hillary Clinton being, man, CJ, let me ask you a question, CJ. Is the Clinton Foundation still functioning today?
Are they ever did fully?
Not just, are they still functioning? Are the doors still open?
I think that they are. Yeah, I don't think it's fully closed. Yeah,
I checked it. I was in New York. I did a little quick check. The Clinton Foundation is alive and active. And folks, just to let all of you know, the Clinton Foundation is taking donations, folks. So if you have a donation to send the Clinton Foundation, they will make sure that your money is put to good use. Okay, developing the next pedo island because their boy Jeffy Epstein is gone. And if you believe that story, I have a bridge in London to sell you. But the doors are still open. They're still taking campaign. They're still taking donations and whatnot. I mean, weren't the FBI, the Freaky Boys International, were they not investigating the Clinton Foundation?
Yeah, but V, don't forget that Trump donated to the Clinton Foundation as well. So
look, I have to admit, I also donated to the Clinton Foundation. I admit it. So,
did you hear they're making a new Matrix, V?
No, what is it? Keanu's back into the Matrix, then Neo finds out that there's really 10 million genders and everybody's gay.
No, I don't know. I just just saying that. I don't know.
You serious? They're maybe remaking the. Why would they make the remake?
They're just making it an additional one. I think this one will be 4.
They should have just left it as is. God, Hollywood is out of ideas. I'm gonna go see the Joker. Did you go see the Joker yet?
I did. Yeah.
Don't tell me about it. Just tell me if you liked it or not.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
dude, I want to go see it.
Yeah. In fact, I went just last night.
Oh man, that is on my list. Folks, go see the Joker. Go see the Joker if you haven't. I heard it's amazing. I heard it's truly a remarkable movie. Go see that rather than one of these regurgitated Hollywood tropes. Anyway, Siege, you have another color revolution happening right now. Another Arab Spring has sprung.
Yeah, in Iraq. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Another Arab Spring has sprung conveniently in Egypt, of all places, CJ. Again.
Egypt, okay.
Again.
Well, they're all over the place now, aren't they? I mean, that's here's a color revolution for you. We
like, what's going on? It's like nobody can leave well enough alone. They just can't. This deep state can't leave well enough alone. Okay, foment a revolution, a coup. Oh, it didn't work. How about a civil war over there? Oh, that didn't work. All right, we're back to Egypt. Let's overthrow Sisi. It's ridiculous, man. I'm just sick of this whole. Something has to give. Look, either two things got to happen, and either. See, I just want something to happen. Something has to happen in order to trigger people to a level where they actually do something to save this country. Otherwise, it's all lost. Maybe it will take a Trump impeachment. Maybe it'll take somebody trying to take him out. Maybe that's what we're waiting for. I mean, dude, as time goes on, CJ, the likelihood of a civil war in this country is looking more and more plausible. And, when I first heard the Russian former KGB guy who defected to the United States state, and also this Russian scholar, Dmitry Orlov, I think it was, who stated that towards the end, the United States is going to be more Soviet, and towards the end, you will see the possibility of a civil war in the United States. I think it's more and more plausible as the days goes on, man. It's terrible, to say the least, where we are.
I think what they'll achieve first before that point is they'll divvy up enough free stuff to pacify people, or that potentially won't be a concern. Whether it's Medicaid, Medicare for all, student loan forgiveness. I think they will do about anything they can to hand those things out like candy in order to keep people from revolting against the system. And if there is going to be some type of escalation like that, it's completely for the wrong reasons and against the wrong people. It should be against the deep state, the banking cartels, the people that created this craziness occurring. So that's what we face. Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and those people. That's low-lying fruit. That doesn't even begin, right? I mean, so yeah. So I think that they will. I think that eventually we will have no choice. And one could argue, are we already there at a socialist state with the massive expansion of government that has occurred, even with this administration? Expansion of government, the people that believe that the economy should be driven around the federal government and it's spending the money and everything. So I don't know. I mean, I think that we're already there. I don't, that, and that's the challenging part. And we'll have no choice. Like once the proverbial shit hits the fan and the dollar and then the potential demise of that, whether it's deflation, inflation, I think they'll have no choice but to just hyperinflate and to helicopter money to pacify the people, to prevent that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But there's no doubt that these are very unusual times. I don't think that in history we've ever seen times like this. So I don't know, V. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. And while you folks are waiting and seeing, keep it locked in here where you get the best, most cutting-edge geopolitical, geoeconomic analysis from the man who's been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. That's me, y'all. And with that being said, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, follow CJ and myself over at realroguenews.com, and also, roguenews.com, and is also at Real Rogue News on Twitter. And again, we'll be back here tomorrow with a broadcast, so keep it locked. Hit us with a thumbs up, folks. Hit us with a thumbs up. And also check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com. Follow me on Patreon. And if you want to be an exclusive client of mine, that option is still available in there. And with that being said, we're over and out. And CJ, I'm going to take it away.